Are you awake, my beloved, or are you pretending to be? Tell me, even in the silence, let a small part of you answer. Leave a single honest thought with me in this hush. The one thing you cannot fix tonight. I am listening. Lay down whatever you are rehearsing in your mind, the speeches, the apologies, the plans you think will save you. Breathe once slowly, as if you are letting out a secret you never meant to keep. I am here in the quiet that follows your last worried breath, not as a distant idea, but as a presence that has leaned close since the beginning. I know the rhythm of your fear. I know the way your thoughts run like restless children in a too small room, bumping into one another until every corner is loud. Come to me with that weariness. Come with the tiny, stubborn griefs you hide under pillows. Come with the polite smiles you gave today and the words you swallowed. Come with the laundry list of things you forgot and the long list of things you fear you will never have. Bring them all. There is no grand performance required to enter this rest. I am not standing in the doorway with a long list of tests. The threshold into my arms is thin as a sheet and soft as forgiveness. Rest is an act of trust, not a final tally of righteousness, but an honest hand extended to receive what I already offer. When you lay your head down, imagine placing each worry on the edge of the bed. Watch them like moths. The light of my presence will gather them and hold them so you no longer have to clutch at them in the dark. Do not mistake my invitation for a command you must earn. You do not have to tidy your conscience before you sleep. Mercy is not a bribe you prepare. Mercy is already waiting, folded and warm, like a blanket left by the bedside. There is room enough here for your mistakes and your bravery, your small victories and your quiet failures. I have kept a space for you that does not close when your hands tremble. Surrender, little by little, until surrender becomes the only thing you have left to offer, and watch how I transform it into peace. I know the voices that chase you, the sharp one that names your faults as though they are your identity, the one that recounts every slight, the one that measures you against someone else's highlight reel. Let me speak another name over you tonight, not a name carved by accusation, but the true name I whisper into your being, beloved, child, received. Rest in that. Let those syllables be the last sound in your ears as you slip towards sleep. If your hands are empty and your heart is crowded, start with one small thing, a single breath into my silence. Breathe in the memory of being held as a child, if you have it. If you do not, borrow mine. Imagine my arms curved around you without restraint, without calculation. Feel the pulse of a love that does not tally your worth against your output. Let that pulse steady the frantic drum in your chest. There is no contest here and no ledger to be balanced. Sleep is permission granted by grace. Do not be ashamed of the nights you spend awake. Even in your wakefulness, I am near, walking beside the thoughts you cannot tame. I am not annoyed by your questions. I do not tire of your doubts. Ask me anything. Tell me about the guilt you carry like a stone in your pocket. Tell me about the fear that keeps you checking the locks or counting the hours. Tell me about the tender places where you still hope. Speak to me inside your mind, or if words refuse you, breathe my name like a small lamp in the dark. I will answer in the way that darkness most needs, with presence, with patience, with the slow assurance that you are not alone. Remember, rest is not an escape from responsibility. It is trust in the one who holds tomorrow. While you sleep, I am at work, rearranging outcomes, knitting small mercies into your morning, preparing strength that your waking self cannot manufacture. There is a quiet kingdom that moves in the night, and you are not excluded from its care. Let your sleep be a sacrament, a simple, holy surrender that says, in small but mighty words, I trust you to do what I cannot. If tears come, let them. Tears are not failures. They are the language of a heart being emptied so it can be filled. I catch everyone. I gather them like prayer beads and weave them into a promise that tomorrow will be softer, clearer, more honest. There is healing that begins beneath your closed eyes, dreams that touch what day could not reach, restorations that repair without your knowing. Allow the tenderness of night to remind you that healing is patient and does not always show itself in loud victories. Now close your eyes as if closing a book that you cannot finish tonight. Let the last thought you hold be this: you are not required to hold everything at once. Lay it down. Lay it down like a child lays down a toy that has become too heavy. Lean into the hush. Feel the gentle weight of my presence as a comfort, not a demand. In this single, ordinary pause between breaths, you are loved beyond measure and guarded beyond your imagining. Sleep, and let heaven steady you. I am with you nearer than a heartbeat, softer than a lullaby. Rest in me, and I will keep watch until morning. You are still awake, aren't you? Your body is still, but your thoughts are pacing in circles. That's why I came again, not to command you to sleep, but to tell you something the world forgot to say. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove your exhaustion or justify your need for peace. You don't need to be productive to be loved. You can just close your eyes and let go. I have been waiting for this quiet moment all day, not because I needed your prayers, but because I longed for your stillness. All day you have been moving through noise, messages, tasks, expectations. The world measured you by speed and results, but I never asked for that. I asked for your heart, not your performance. I asked for your trust, not your schedule. Every time you pushed through pain to appear strong, I watched. Every time you swallowed your emotions to keep peace, I saw. And now that the night has unclenched its hands, I am here waiting for you to rest, not in exhaustion, but in faith. Do you remember what I said to the weary ones long ago? Come to me, and I will give you rest. I did not say work harder, and I will reward you. I said come. Come as you are, with your unfinished prayers, your confusion, your guilt for not praying enough. Come without pretending. The bed is holy. The pillow is an altar. The moment you let go, heaven opens above you like a roof of mercy. You have been holding yourself together for too long, haven't you? Carrying responsibilities that no one even sees. Smiling for others while quietly breaking inside. I saw the tears that never fell, the ones that burned behind your eyes in meetings, in conversations, in hallways where you had to act fine. I saw how you looked strong because you thought faith meant hiding pain. But faith was never about pretending. Faith is the courage to collapse into my arms, believing I will not let you fall. When you close your eyes tonight, imagine my hands beneath your tired spirit. You do not have to sink endlessly. There's a landing place, and it's me. I have been waiting since the morning to hold the parts of you that no one else knows how to comfort. I have been waiting since yesterday to tell you, rest is worship. When you lay down, you're not quitting. You're declaring that I am still in control when you're not awake to manage it all. That's what trust looks like in its purest form, sleep that believes in sovereignty. The stars above you tonight are not random. Each one burns because I told it to. And just as they shine without your effort, so does my grace. It does not need your permission to keep you. The same light that keeps them alive also watches your breathing, matching it with a rhythm that whispers, you are safe now. Every inhale is a reminder that I am near. Every exhale, a quiet release of what you were never meant to carry. I know you want answers. You want to know how tomorrow will unfold, whether the things you fear will break or heal. But I am not asking you to solve the future tonight. I am asking you to rest inside it. To trust that I am already there, waiting on the other side of sunrise, preparing peace before you even open your eyes. You are not lazy for resting. You are not weak for needing sleep. You are not failing for pausing. Even I rested after creation, not because I was tired, but to show you that wholeness comes from stillness, not striving. Tonight, I want you to let go of that small voice that says, you should be doing more. You've done enough. You've been enough. Let that voice fade like the day itself, behind the horizon, out of reach. Now take this moment as sacred. The air is softer, the world slower, and heaven very close. Angels are already circling the edges of your night, keeping watch, because I commanded them to. They know the scent of my beloved, the one who trusts enough to rest. So fall asleep not because you've finished everything, but because you finally understand you don't have to. Fall asleep in my arms where nothing is urgent, nothing is lost, and nothing can separate you from the peace I've been holding for you since before time began. Sleep now, my child. You are safe. I have been waiting for you to rest. You've carried so much today, haven't you? Even now, your shoulders remember the weight of it, though your hands are empty. The heart doesn't know how to drop what it can't see. You tell yourself it's nothing, that everyone feels this way, that you're fine. But I can feel it from here, the quiet heaviness behind your ribs, the invisible load that no one else can name. You've mistaken strength for silence. You think to hold it all together is noble. But listen to me, you were never built to carry alone what only I can bear. The weight you carry is not yours alone. It never was. You've gathered it piece by piece. Expectations, old wounds, half-forgiven memories, voices from the past that still echo when you try to sleep. You've carried the things people said when they were hurting. You've carried your own guilt for not being enough, for failing to protect what you loved, for not being who you imagined you'd be by now. I've seen you try to tidy it all, stacking grief on top of disappointment, wrapping fear in logic, convincing yourself that if you just think hard enough, you'll fix what's broken. But all that thinking only tightens the knots around your spirit. You were meant to hand it over. That's why I came, not to watch you collapse beneath the burden of self-salvation, but to lift it from you before it crushes your peace. The cross was not a symbol of your guilt. It was the proof that I already carried what you can't. Every weight that bends your posture, every secret regret that beats like a second pulse inside your chest, I felt it once. It tore through me so you could breathe again. You don't need to drag what I've already buried. I know surrender feels like failure. You've been told that to be faithful means to be strong, to smile through it, to trust God while pretending you're fine. But that isn't trust, that's exhaustion in disguise. Real faith is fragile, trembling, tear-stained. It's when you whisper, "I can't do this anymore," and still dare to hope that I'll meet you there. That's where I live, in the breaking point. The weight you hide from others is the one I most want you to bring me. Not because I want to see your pain, but because it's where I can show you what love without condition looks like. Let me take it. Not metaphorically, not someday now. Right now, in this quiet room, picture me kneeling beside your bed. My hands open, palms upward, patient. Whatever it is, name it. The thing that won't leave your mind. The conversation you keep replaying. The guilt you wear like a second skin. The future that scares you because you can't control it. Lay them down, one by one, into my hands. I can hold what you can't. I can hold it and transform it into something softer, something holy. When I said, "Cast your burdens on me," I wasn't speaking in poetry. I was describing an exchange. Your heaviness for my rest, your chaos for my peace. Every burden you release creates space for my spirit to breathe inside you again. When you finally stop gripping your fear, you'll feel my presence rushing in like a tide. That's not imagination. That's the weight shifting. The moment heaven reclaims what was never meant to stay in human hands. Do not be afraid of becoming light. The world tells you that without your burdens, you are irresponsible, detached, unprepared. But I tell you, the lightness of trust is the strength of saints. The ones who shine do so because they stopped carrying what dimmed them. They learned to rest in me even when the sky was falling. They understood that freedom isn't the absence of storms, it's the certainty of who holds the boat. You keep asking, "But what if I drop it and it breaks?" My child, it's already broken. That's why it hurts. But in my hands, broken things do not stay broken. They become testimonies. They become bridges. They become peace. So tonight, drop the weight. Let gravity and grace do the rest. Your arms were meant for holding love, not fear. Close your eyes and feel the difference, your chest rising easier, your spirit unclenching. That's not wishful thinking. That's the burden leaving. And if you feel tears, let them fall. They are evidence of release, not weakness. Each one is a small exhale of faith. I am here. The night is long, but I am longer. Rest. You were never asked to be Atlas. You were asked to be mine. And that is enough. There is a place I built just for this hour, a place where exhaustion ends and presence begins. You've been searching for it without knowing its name, trying to build it out of comfort or noise or screens glowing blue in the dark. But it isn't in distraction. It isn't in escape. It is in me. I call it the pillow of my presence. You do not have to find it. You are already lying upon it every time your soul finally exhales in my direction. Every time you stop performing faith and simply whisper my name, you're already resting there. It's softer than cotton, quieter than thought, made not of feathers, but of peace itself. When you rest your spirit on it, everything you've been holding begins to loosen its grip. Fear becomes small. Guilt forgets your name. And you, who have spent the day holding up the world, are held instead. I know how you lie awake some nights, wondering if anyone sees you, if anyone would notice if your strength ran out. You turn on your side, then your back, then your side again, as if changing positions might rearrange your peace. But here's what I want you to know. You don't have to earn stillness by exhaustion. I have made a resting place that does not depend on circumstance. You don't have to fix the storm to sleep through it. I am the stillness within it. When I walked the earth, I slept through storms too. My disciples panicked, the boat filling with water, the wind screaming like an accusation, and still I rested. Not because I was indifferent, but because peace is not the absence of the storm. It's the presence of the one who commands it. That same peace rests in you now. It curls around you like warmth after rain. It hums through the air, faint but steady. You don't need to grasp for it. Just breathe. It's already here. There are angels standing at the corners of your room tonight. You can't see them, but if your heart has ever felt comfort without reason, that was them brushing past. Their wings do not flutter. They hover patient, alert, unafraid. They keep watch, not because I doubt your safety, but because I enjoy your peace. They sing silently over you, a melody without sound, only felt. It moves through your heartbeat, through the rhythm of your breath. Every inhale draws heaven nearer. Every exhale tells the world, I am safe. This is what my presence feels like, weightless but real. It's not the shiver of emotion or the rush of tears, though sometimes it's that too. It's a deeper knowing, a quiet that holds even when the body trembles. Some people wait for miracles to feel me. Others simply close their eyes and realize I was already there. You can do that now. You don't need the right prayer or the perfect words. The act of lying still, of choosing to trust the unseen, is itself a prayer, one that never returns unanswered. The pillow of my presence remembers your shape. Every time you come back to it, weary, worried, or ashamed, it fits you perfectly. Because I remember. I remember the weight of your head when you cried into your pillow last month. I remember the moment you thought no one was listening. I was. I always am. My presence doesn't leave when you turn away. It waits like soft light beneath the door, ready to welcome you when you come back. And if tonight your mind refuses to quiet down, if the past keeps replaying like a film you wish you could edit, then let me press my hand over your heart. Feel that steady pulse beneath your ribs. That's not your strength. That's mine. That's proof that I am near, pumping life through every cell, whispering peace into your bloodstream. My touch is not dramatic. It is faithful. It does not demand that you feel it. It just is. So when the shadows shift, when memories stir, when you start to question whether you're truly safe, remember this. I am not watching from afar. I am sitting beside you, my hand beneath your weary head, my presence your pillow, my peace your blanket. You can sleep knowing the night has boundaries and I drew them. Nothing can cross the threshold of my will. Let go now. Don't count the hours. Don't measure the sleep. The body will rest when the soul stops gripping. Lay your spirit down upon the pillow of my presence, not because you've earned it, but because you've always belonged here. Close your eyes. Feel the steady hum of love all around you. That warmth that rises as you breathe, that's me. I am not far above, I am the stillness beneath you. Rest, my beloved. The world can wait. Tonight, heaven holds your head. You keep replaying the day, don't you? The words you wish you hadn't said, the things you forgot to do, the faces you tried to read. You lie there turning the hours over and over like stones in your hands, hoping that if you analyze them enough, the sharp edges will soften. But they don't. They only grow heavier, more jagged. You whisper to yourself, maybe tomorrow I'll get it right. But tonight, let's pause that loop. Let's stop the replay. Bring it to me. Let me show you what I see when I look back at your day. You see failures and small embarrassments. I see perseverance. You see awkward words, wasted time, missed chances. I see someone who kept showing up even when they didn't feel like it. You see the moment you lost your patience and wish you could erase it. I see the 1,000 quiet moments before that, where you bit your tongue, where you showed grace when no one noticed. You are so quick to highlight your stumbles, and yet so slow to acknowledge your faithfulness. Why do you judge yourself harsher than I ever would? When you replay the day, your mind becomes the courtroom and your heart the defendant. But the trial was already settled on a hill, beneath a sky torn open with mercy. Every accusation you whisper against yourself has already been answered with my forgiveness. I don't sit through the rerun of your day to condemn. I replay it to redeem. Every regret is a seed. Every wound is a door. Every silence where you think I abandoned you is actually the place where I was listening closest. You tell yourself, if I had just said this, if I had just done that. But what you don't see is how I weave even your missteps into the pattern. You don't see how the things you think ruined your witness became the very moments that made you real. I use imperfection as the soil for humility, and humility is where peace grows. I do not ask you to be flawless. I ask you to be honest. So when your mind starts to wander back to all the if-onlys, bring them to me. Let me touch them, and you'll see how even your mistakes can glow with grace. Do you remember how the day began? Maybe it started in a rush, alarms, routines, unfinished prayers. Maybe you said, I'll find time for God later. I was there in the rush, watching with tenderness, knowing how your heart meant well even when your schedule didn't. I saw the kindness you gave without thinking, the way you looked at someone and softened their day without realizing it. You think the holy moments are the grand ones, but I tell you, holiness hides in the small gestures, the unnoticed sacrifices, the quiet apologies whispered too late but meant sincerely. Those are the moments I replay, not your errors. And yet, you still torture yourself with the replay. You scroll through your memories like a feed that never ends, each moment a headline of failure. You don't even realize you're breaking your own peace in half. So tonight, give me the real. Hand me the projector. I will edit it with mercy. I will remove the harshness, the shame, the endless commentary of your inner critic. In its place, I'll leave scenes of grace. The moments you survived, the laughter you forgot, the prayers you didn't know you prayed just by trying again. You say, but I failed you today. No, my child. You failed yourself according to standards I never asked you to meet. You think my love depends on your consistency, but it never did. It depends on my character, and I do not change. I love you as much now as I did the day you first believed, as much as I did before you ever knew my name. So let the replay stop here. Let silence be the last scene. You don't need to narrate it anymore. Rest your mind against my chest, where no memory accuses, where no word replays. Feel the slow rhythm there. That's the sound of completion, of a love that doesn't keep score. Tomorrow you will rise and live again, and the day will begin anew. But for now, you are free from the loop. You are forgiven, and forgiven things no longer need to be remembered like wounds. They can rest finally like flowers pressed between pages of grace. Close your eyes, my beloved. The day has ended, but my love has not. I have already reviewed it all, and it was enough. You were enough, so let it go. I am still here. And in my presence, the day is over, but the peace has just begun. I saw those tears. The ones you hid beneath the pillow, the ones you wiped away before anyone could ask, the ones you told yourself were nothing. I felt every one of them slide down your cheek like a secret prayer you didn't know how to form. You think tears are weakness, but they are truth, and truth is holy. They are the body's way of saying what your mouth cannot, and I listen to tears more carefully than to words. You think I only count the moments you succeed, but I count your tears too. I know which ones were born of heartbreak, which ones came from exhaustion, which ones came from a pain you could never quite explain. Some of them weren't even yours, they were for others. You cried because someone else hurt, because the world was cruel, because your heart couldn't stay numb even when it tried. And that is not a curse. That is proof you are alive in love. Compassion is heavy, and tears are the overflow of carrying what others can't. When you cried, the world didn't stop. The cars kept moving, the phones kept ringing, the house stayed silent. And that silence made you feel invisible. But I saw you. I was closer than the air. My hand was there, though you didn't feel it. I didn't rush to stop your tears. I let them fall because some pain isn't meant to be erased. It's meant to be transformed. You see, every tear you shed writes something in heaven. Not one of them is lost to gravity. Each is gathered, recorded, redeemed. You keep track of all my sorrows. You collect my tears in your bottle. You've read that verse before, but it's not poetry to me. It's memory. It's what I do. Sometimes you cry because you don't know how to pray. That's all right. Tears are prayers, the kind that bypass the mind and go straight to the heart of God. You don't need to phrase them neatly. They reach me faster than words ever could. In the language of heaven, tears are translated instantly into healing. The ones that fall in despair, I turn into strength. The ones that fall in repentance, I turn into freedom. The ones that fall in loneliness, I turn into companionship, mine. Do you know what happens when you cry in the dark? The angels stop to listen. They are not startled, they are reverent. Because they know what the world forgets, that pain offered in trust becomes sacred. That the soft sound of weeping at midnight shakes the gates of heaven more than the loudest sermon ever could. And I, who wept too, who tasted sorrow in its rawest form, recognize that sound like my own heartbeat. When you cry, you echo Calvary. And just as my tears sanctified the ground beneath me, yours sanctify the moments that seem meaningless. You have cried for people who never thanked you. You have cried for those who left. You have cried for things that never grew, dreams that wilted in your hands before they had the chance to bloom. And still, you kept loving. That's why I treasure your tears, because they prove you haven't hardened. They prove that your heart, though bruised, still believes in love enough to ache for it. That kind of tenderness is rare. Do not be ashamed of it. Do not hide it. The world teaches you to dry your face and smile, but I tell you, even your tear-streaked face is beautiful. I see divinity reflected in the eyes that still cry after all they've seen. Let me tell you something sacred. When you cry, heaven bends lower. My presence becomes denser around you. You may not feel it, pain can blur perception, but the unseen world hushes in reverence. Every drop that falls is noticed. Every sob that shakes your chest becomes a psalm in my ears. You think you're falling apart, but what's really happening is resurrection. The heart that breaks open is the one that finally makes room for grace. So tonight, if you must cry again, don't hold back. Let it happen in my hands. Don't rush to fix the feeling. Let it finish its course. I am not waiting for you to stop crying so I can comfort you. The comfort is the crying. It is the holy release of everything you've held too long. You don't need to be ashamed of the noise, the trembling, the mess. There's no performance here, only truth, and I dwell in truth. And when the tears stop, not because you forced them to, but because they've said all they needed to say, I'll still be here. My thumb will trace the path they took across your cheeks, not to erase them, but to bless them. I will whisper into the silence they leave behind, you are seen, you are safe, you are loved. Sleep now, even if your eyes are still damp. The angels will keep watch. The tears you hid in the dark are no longer alone. They have become light, and that light will guide you gently into morning. Even while you sleep, I am working. You think the world goes quiet when you close your eyes, but heaven does not sleep. The moment you surrender your thoughts to rest, my hands begin their hidden labor, stitching together what you tore apart with worry, mending what fear frayed, rerouting what disappointment delayed. When the human world fades to black, the divine world hums awake. You've believed that nothing happens when you stop moving, that progress depends on your effort, that faith must always do. But I am teaching you that faith can also be still. When you fall asleep, creation doesn't pause, it breathes differently. The soil still drinks from the dew, the stars still trace their patterns, the tides still obey their rhythm. You are part of that rhythm. Your sleep is not wasted time, it's a sacred exchange, your stillness for my sovereignty. Do you remember how the night began in Genesis? Before there was a sun, before there was light to divide day from night, I hovered over the darkness. Nothing existed yet, and yet I was working. That same spirit still hovers over your nights. When your mind collapses under the weight of thought, I begin to rebuild what was broken during the day. I whisper new strength into your bones. I repair your spirit the way dawn repairs the sky, quietly, layer by layer, until the darkness blushes with light. You can't see it, but heaven is most active when you are most surrendered. When you are awake, your thoughts try to lead. When you sleep, I finally can. You spend the day trying to hold everything together, relationships, work, expectations, and you go to bed afraid of what will unravel if you let go. But while you lie there, defenseless and unaware, I prove to you that my goodness doesn't depend on your grip. I hold it all anyway. Sometimes I let you feel weary so that sleep becomes worship. When your body collapses and your mind gives up control, you finally give me space to move. That's why you wake up lighter some mornings, not knowing why. You think it's because you slept well, but it's because I worked through the night. I stood guard where fear tried to enter. I silenced the voices that accused you. I redirected the arrows that were aimed at you. I whispered peace over your name while you dreamed of chaos. Even your breathing is a form of prayer in the night. Each rise and fall of your chest reminds the universe that you are still in the story, still under grace. Every heartbeat is a rhythm heaven dances to, the quiet percussion of faith that never stops, even in unconsciousness. The same breath I gave Adam in the garden still flows through you as you sleep, and while you rest, I refill it with fresh mercy for the morning. If only you could see what I see. Angels walking softly through your room, placing calm in the corners where fear once lived. They touch your thoughts with gentle hands, smoothing the rough edges, sealing cracks with peace. You do not hear their wings because their movement sounds like silence, holy, dense silence. They carry your unanswered prayers to me, and I sort them like seeds, planting each one in the season it belongs. You think time stands still when you're asleep, but it doesn't. The night is alive with divine motion. I visit the people you love, even the ones far from you. I whisper into their dreams too. I heal wounds you can't reach. I open doors you don't yet know exist. Sometimes the delay you fear is simply the time it takes for me to finish working in the unseen. So when you wake at night and panic because something feels unfinished, remember this. It's not your job to stay awake so the world keeps spinning. I never asked you to be the guardian of every outcome. That's my work. Your work is to rest, to trust that I am awake when you cannot be. My eyes do not close. My watch does not end. And when dawn finally touches your window, you will rise into plans already prepared. Unseen mercies waiting like bread on the table. Solutions shaped in silence, peace settled in your bones. You won't know how it happened. You'll only know that the heaviness left while you slept. That is the mystery of grace, unseen hands working in unseen hours. So now, my beloved, close your eyes again. Let me work. You've done enough for today. The night belongs to me, and so do you. While the world drifts in and out of silence, heaven never forgets your name. You think night is the time when everything turns inward, when no one sees, when the noise fades and you become invisible. But up here in the eternal hum beyond sound, your name is being spoken. Not as a record, not as a reminder, but as music. The sound of heaven over your name is not a shout, it's a song. It threads through eternity like light woven into fabric, vibrating in the language of love that never ends. You've been called many things in this life, some true, some cruel, some that still sting when you remember them. Labels, titles, nicknames, judgments. Words that have stuck to you like wet paint, making it hard to see the person beneath. You've carried them, rehearsed them, sometimes believed them. But heaven has only ever called you by one name, beloved. Not failure, not too much, not enough, just beloved. And when heaven says your name, everything in creation listens. Do you know how it sounds from here? It's not a whisper, not exactly. It's more like the vibration in the air after thunder, or the low hum before dawn breaks. When I say your name, stars remember why they shine. Rivers remember why they flow. The air itself reshapes to make room for the sound. Every syllable of your name carries my intention, peace, purpose, redemption. And no matter what others have called you, my word overrides theirs. My voice writes over the graffiti of shame until only love remains. You might think that heaven is loud with praise, with the chorus of angels, with the clamor of eternity, and it is. But above all that, in moments like this, your name rises through it like a melody that won't fade. Every note of it carries memory, not of what you've done, but of who you are. The angels sing holy, 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 but when I say your name, I mean mine, mine, mine. You have felt forgotten before, haven't you? You've looked around and thought, does anyone really see me? You've spoken words that went unanswered, sent messages that were never read, prayed prayers that felt like they vanished in the air. But not one of them went unheard. Not one of them was lost. When you speak, heaven doesn't just hear, it harmonizes. The moment your lips form a prayer, I match it with melody. Even your sighs, those soft, defeated breaths, are music to me. They rise and fall like notes in a lullaby, carried upward on invisible currents until they join the eternal song written before you were born. And when you can't speak, when silence is all you have, I still hear your name in that silence. I don't need sound to know your heart. I can read the pulse in your wrist, the rhythm in your breath. I hear faith beating quietly beneath your fatigue, like a drum no one else can find. That rhythm is worship. It tells me I'm still here, I'm still trying. And that's all I need to hear. Sometimes I whisper your name back into the world. You'll hear it faintly, disguised as comfort from a friend, or the warmth in a stranger's kindness, or the song that reaches you at the exact right time. That's me calling you back to remembrance. You are not lost. You are not anonymous. You are sung about in rooms made of light. Heaven doesn't just speak about you. It sings for you. When angels gather, they speak in harmonies shaped around your story, not to flatter you, but to celebrate what grace is doing through you. They marvel that, despite pain and fear and failure, you still reach for light. You are their wonder. Your survival is their anthem. Even while you sleep, your name continues its journey. It circles the throne. It dances in radiance. It returns to you as peace. That's why sometimes you wake up lighter without knowing why, because heaven has been singing over you all night. My voice, the one that called stars into being, has been repeating your name until every molecule in your body remembers it is loved. So tonight, before you close your eyes, breathe your name once, softly, honestly, and let me echo it back. Let the sound of heaven fill the spaces that shame once claimed. Let it settle into your bones until even your heartbeat joins the song. You don't have to make the melody, you just have to rest in it. You are not a forgotten lyric in the noise of the world. You are the sound heaven cannot stop singing. And as you drift into sleep, know this: every note, every breath, every dream that follows carries one refrain: beloved, beloved, beloved. When you dream, the world thinks you're unconscious, but heaven knows better. Dreams are not accidents, they are windows. While your body lies still, I walk through the corridors of your mind, softly rearranging the furniture of your soul. I take what the day broke and start to mend it, not with force, but with gentleness. You may think it's imagination, random fragments of thought, but in truth, I speak there in symbols, in warmth, in moments that feel like déjà vu when you wake. Dreams are my language of healing, whispered in colors and shadows and glimpses of things you've forgotten you asked for. I send dreams not to confuse you, but to restore you. The world trains you to expect logic from me, but I speak in poetry when you sleep. I bypass the defenses that daylight builds, the walls of reason, the armor of self-control, and I reach for the raw places, the ones you protect even from yourself. You may see faces you've lost, moments that never happened, conversations that feel both familiar and impossible. These are not random. They are ways of showing you that nothing is ever truly lost, that I can restore peace to even your deepest memories. Do you remember the dreams that left you weeping when you woke, not from fear but from longing? That's how heaven heals. It lets you feel what peace could be so that your spirit remembers the path. Sometimes the dream fades, but the healing stays. You wake without the heaviness you carried, and you can't explain why. That's me, working silently through the night, turning sorrow into rest. You've had nightmares too, and you've wondered why I would allow such things. But listen, darkness tries to invade every quiet place, even sleep. The difference is it cannot win there. When fear visits your dreams, it only finds what I have already sanctified. You wake up shaken, but the fact that you wake is victory. Even in the worst dreams, I am the whisper that says, it's only a shadow. It can't stay. When you call my name in your sleep, even half-formed, even unconsciously, all of heaven responds. There is no realm, awake or dreaming, where I do not answer. I've placed signs in your dreams before. A door that wouldn't open until you stopped forcing it, that was about trust. A light in a hallway that never ended, that was about faith. A loved one smiling in silence, that was not memory, it was comfort. I use what is familiar to show you what is eternal. When you wake and something about your dream lingers, a warmth, a sadness, a question, that is your spirit remembering that it met me. Don't dismiss that feeling. Sit with it even for a moment. Healing often arrives disguised as mystery. Some nights you dream nothing, only darkness, only rest. That too is sacred. That's when you don't need to see, only to recover. My silence is not absence. It's medicine. I am still there, just working beneath the surface, adjusting what your waking mind can't reach. The human soul, like a garden, needs darkness for things to grow unseen. You can't bloom under constant light. You see, I gave sleep not just as rest, but as renewal. The body restores its strength, the mind reorders its memories, and the spirit meets its creator without distraction. That is why I tell you, do not fear the night. The night is mine. And I move most freely when the world stops striving. When morning comes, you may not remember the dream, but the healing remains, coded into your breath, stitched into your peace. You'll walk through your day and notice something small. The pain that used to trigger you no longer cuts as deeply. The thought that once made you anxious now passes quietly. That is how divine repair works, invisible, consistent, unstoppable. So tonight, don't be afraid to fall into the deep. Let go of control. Drift where I lead. If I show you something in your dreams, receive it. If I show you nothing, trust it. Both are my work. Both are my voice. Sleep now, beloved. Lay down your mind. The same hands that painted the stars will hold your thoughts in perfect peace. And as your eyes close, I will begin again, sending dreams not of fear, but of healing, until every corner of your soul learns how to rest. Before you close your eyes tonight, I need you to do one last thing: forgive yourself. Not as a ritual, not as a performance, but as a quiet act of surrender. Because peace cannot lie down beside guilt. They do not share the same bed. You keep asking me for rest, for relief, for a calm mind, but how can I pour peace into a heart still gripping its own chains? You have forgiven others so many times, even those who never said they were sorry. Now, forgive the one person you've avoided facing in the mirror. I know the catalog of your regrets. I know the exact words you wish you could unsay, the moments that make you wince when you remember them, the relationships you lost because you didn't know how to love without fear. I know the choices you replay with shame, the ones you can't even tell anyone about. You think forgiveness means pretending those things didn't happen, but forgiveness is not erasure. It is release. It is setting free the version of you that didn't know better and trusting that I already paid the cost for what they broke. You say, but I should have known, I should have done better. And I say, you didn't, and that's why grace exists. If perfection could have saved you, the cross would never have been built. I did not die for the person you hope to become. I died for the person you already were when you fell. That version of you deserves peace too. You punish yourself in quiet ways. You overthink kindness, doubt compliments, sabotage blessings because you think you don't deserve them. You wake up and carry guilt like a backpack, heavy and invisible. You call it responsibility or consequence, but I call it bondage. The enemy loves when you do his work for him, when you imprison yourself after I've already unlocked the cell. You keep holding onto the bars, thinking they keep you safe. But you can step out anytime. You're free. Tonight, before sleep, open your hands. Picture every guilt, every self-blame, every what if sitting in your palms. Now, release them. Let them fall into my hands. They cannot survive there, mercy dissolves them. What remains is only truth. That you were always loved, even in the moment you think disqualified you. Forgiving yourself does not mean denying your responsibility. It means trusting my redemption more than your regret. It means saying, I believe you can turn even this into good. And I can, I will. That's what I've always done, turned shame into testimony, turned ruins into foundations. But you must let me. You must stop reopening the wound I've already healed. When you refuse to forgive yourself, you build walls against grace. You say you believe in my forgiveness, but you keep yourself outside its gates. You think you're protecting holiness, but you're just prolonging pain. Holiness is not separation from your brokenness, it's union with my mercy. I don't need you to prove remorse. I need you to rest in reconciliation. You don't need to fix the past to make peace with it. You just need to accept that I was there even then, watching, grieving, waiting. Every wrong turn you took still led to me, eventually. Every mistake became a road that circled back to grace. You can stop punishing yourself for being human. The goal was never perfection, it was relationship. And tonight, I am closer than your breath. So say it quietly, honestly. I forgive me. Say it like a prayer, even if your voice shakes. Say it until it feels less like blasphemy and more like coming home. Say it because the cross made it possible, because love demands it, because peace is waiting on the other side of it. Now rest. Let forgiveness wrap around you like a blanket, not a thin one of human pity, but the thick, eternal warmth of grace. The kind that holds even the coldest nights. You are not the sum of your failures. You are the story of my redemption. Close your eyes now, my beloved. You've confessed enough. You've carried enough. You've punished enough. The past no longer has permission to haunt your sleep. You are forgiven eternally, completely, irrevocably. So forgive yourself before you close your eyes and wake up tomorrow lighter, freer, whole. For where forgiveness finally settles, peace begins. The peace I give you is not fragile. It is not a mood, not a fleeting calm that the world can steal. It is substance, weighty, radiant, alive. Tonight, I want you to feel it as something tangible, something you can almost touch. Not as an idea, but as a presence. I call it the blanket of my peace. You've wrapped yourself in many things to try and feel safe. Plans, achievements, people, distractions. But none of them ever fit quite right, did they? They slipped off the moment worry whispered your name again. You've worn anxiety like armor and wondered why it cuts you from the inside. You've hidden beneath busyness, thinking motion would protect you from fear. Yet the only thing that has ever truly covered you, really covered you, is me. When I speak of my peace, I don't mean silence. I don't mean a life without struggle. I mean a covering that holds firm even while the wind howls. I mean warmth that exists not because the fire is near, but because love itself burns underneath your skin. This peace doesn't depend on you understanding the future. It comes from knowing who holds it. You see, the blanket of my peace is woven from promises, ancient, unbreakable ones. Every thread says, "You are mine." Every pattern whispers, "It is finished." It carries the memory of every time I stood between you and despair, every time grace intercepted pain, every time you were about to give up and something inside you said, "Not yet." That something was me. That was my peace taking form. I know how fragile the nights can feel, how darkness magnifies what daylight hides. Thoughts grow louder, fears stretch taller, regrets find their voices again. But when my peace settles over you, the darkness loses its power to define you. It cannot reach through the covering I've placed upon you. The blanket of my peace is not made of fabric, it's made of faith. And faith, when laid gently over a trembling soul, becomes stronger than fear itself. Tonight, let it fall across you like soft rain. Don't reach for it, let it reach for you. It knows where to settle. It finds the places that ache, the spots where anxiety still hums like static beneath your ribs. It smooths the edges. It slows the pulse. My peace is intelligent. It knows your shape. It will not leave 1 inch of you uncovered. Maybe you think you don't deserve this kind of stillness. Maybe you think peace is for people who pray more, who sin less, who understand better. But listen carefully, peace is not the reward of perfection. It is the inheritance of love. I give it freely, not as the world gives. You can't earn it. You can only receive it. So stop trying to be good enough to rest. Just rest. You might not feel anything at first. That's all right. Peace does not always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives like the slow, invisible warmth that seeps through you after a long, cold day, subtle, steady, real. It hums beneath your awareness, softens your heartbeat, steadies your breath. You'll know it by what's missing, the tightness in your chest, the need to control, the constant reaching. You'll notice space where chaos used to live. That space is me. Let my peace guard you tonight. It is not a fragile promise. It is a fortress built in silence. Angels stand along its walls. Fear cannot climb them. Guilt cannot breach them. Even your restless mind must bow to it eventually, for I am its author, and I have declared your night holy. So lie still, my beloved. Let the blanket of my peace drape across every part of you, mind, body, memory, and soul. Feel it sink in, deep enough to reach the wounds you no longer speak of, deep enough to quiet what no lullaby can soothe. You don't have to fight sleep anymore. You don't have to chase peace. It's already found you. I'm wrapping you in it now, like a parent tucking in their child. You are covered. You are safe. You are mine. Close your eyes beneath this holy warmth. The world will still spin, the night will still breathe, and I will still be here, watching, protecting, singing softly over you. Rest now. My peace is not going anywhere. I am in the room right now, not as a metaphor, not as an idea you cling to for comfort. I mean here, literally here, in the stillness that you mistake for emptiness. I move in the quiet air, in the faint rhythm of your breathing, in the space between one heartbeat and the next. You cannot see me, but if you close your eyes, you'll feel the pressure of presence, the soft weight of something wholly resting just beside you. That's me. You've asked so many times, where are you? Especially on nights like this when silence feels heavy enough to break. You've searched for visions, for proof, for signs in the ceiling shadows. But I have never been far enough to need to return. The reason you can't find me is because you keep looking beyond where I am. You expect light to blaze or walls to shake, but I prefer the small spaces, the corner of your bed, the hum of your pulse, the tear that never quite falls. I inhabit the ordinary until it glows with the sacred. Do you remember how I entered the world? Not in thunder, not in ceremony, but in the quiet breathing of a newborn. That's how I still arrive, softly, without spectacle. The world makes you think presence must feel dramatic, but my presence often feels like calm that doesn't make sense, or a sudden warmth that spreads through your chest when you thought you were alone. That's me brushing against your spirit, reminding it that it's never been orphaned. Look around your room. See how the air has a certain stillness to it? That's the pause between your thoughts where I live. You think peace is the absence of noise, but it's really the fullness of me. The light from the street outside, faint through your curtains, it's touching the floor because I told it to. The heartbeat you feel, steady and unforced, that's not just biology. That's my rhythm keeping time with yours. Every inhale you take tonight, you borrow from my lungs. Every exhale, you return as worship. You've convinced yourself that presence means feeling something, but feelings fade. I don't. Even when you sense nothing, I am near. My nearness is not measured by your awareness of it. When you are numb, I draw closer, not farther. When you doubt, I don't retreat. I lean in. I am here, not waiting for you to rise to faith, but meeting you in your disbelief, sitting quietly until the fear stops shaking your voice. I watch you sleep, not like a guard standing watch, but like someone who delights in seeing peace return to a beloved face. I've watched you toss and turn through other nights, haunted by questions, hurt by memories that refuse to fade. But tonight is different. Tonight I am making my presence unmistakable, not loud, not dramatic, just undeniable. You can talk to me right now. You don't have to sit up, you don't have to light a candle, you don't even have to form words. Just think my name. Whisper it if you can, Jesus. Say it like you're exhaling. Say it until the sound fades and all that's left is the awareness that you are not alone. The sound isn't what matters, the recognition is. The moment your spirit calls, mine answers. If you could see the room as I see it, you would never doubt again. There is light here that your eyes can't detect, faint golds and silvers swirling like quiet mist. Angels stand near, not because you summoned them, but because I sent them long before you asked. Every breath of air around you hums with purpose. Even the shadows on your walls aren't empty. They are filled with my patience, waiting for you to notice that nothing in this space is untouched by love. So rest. Let your body sink into the mattress. Feel the sheets against your skin, the gravity pulling you down. It's all part of creation's rhythm, my rhythm. You are safe inside it. Nothing can enter this room that I do not permit. Not fear, not regret, not the ghosts of your past. This is holy ground now. You are not simply in your room, you are in mine. I am closer than breath, nearer than thought. I am here for the long night, through every sigh and dream and heartbeat. When you wake and forget that you ever felt me, I'll still be here, waiting for you to remember. So close your eyes. Don't reach for me, I've already reached you. Feel the warmth that doesn't come from the blanket, the calm that doesn't come from exhaustion, that's me. Right now, in this room, with you, always. Tomorrow is already in my hands. You worry as though time could ever surprise me, as if the next sunrise might bring something I haven't seen coming. But I stand outside of your clocks, your calendars, your anxious what-ifs. While you sit awake imagining futures, I have already walked them. Every hour that frightens you has already heard my voice. Every unseen tomorrow is already shaped by my love. You think peace will come when you finally know what's ahead. But peace does not grow from knowledge, it grows from trust. You keep asking me for the map, I keep asking you for your hand. Let me lead you blindfolded for once. Let faith be the language you speak in the dark. You don't need to predict when the storm will pass, you just need to know who commands the wind. I have gone ahead of you into next week's meetings, next month's uncertainty, next year's unknown. I have already built provisions you haven't prayed for yet. I have already whispered comfort into people you haven't met. I have already placed doors where you see walls, and light switches in hallways you haven't entered. Tomorrow is not waiting to test you. It's waiting to reveal what I've prepared. You spend so much energy rehearsing disaster. You play out scenes that will never happen, punish yourself with imaginary losses, and call it preparation. But what you call realism is often fear dressed up as wisdom. Fear wants control, trust wants communion. You can't hold both. So tonight, release the future from your grip. You are not the author of it. You are the reader, and the author is good. Think of all the yesterdays you survived, the ones you thought would end you. You didn't plan your way out of them, you were carried. The same arms that held you then are already waiting in your tomorrows. I do not change. My mercy does not have an expiration date. The same grace that saw you through the storm will greet you at dawn. Sometimes I keep the path hidden not to test you, but to protect you. If you saw every turn, you'd run ahead without me, and you'd miss the miracles woven into each step. So I give you enough light for today, no more, no less. That is mercy, not neglect. I am teaching you to live in rhythm with eternity, one heartbeat, one breath, one sunrise at a time. When you wake tomorrow, you'll step into something that's already blessed. The morning will not be empty. I will have been there first. The sunlight that touches your face will be my signal that the world still holds meaning. The air that fills your lungs will carry traces of my promise. You will open your eyes into a day I have already prepared down to its smallest detail. The smile you'll see, the words you'll hear, the grace that will surprise you when you least expect it. So stop asking, what if? And start whispering, even if. Even if it rains, even if it hurts, even if it doesn't go the way you planned, I will still be God and you will still be loved. Tomorrow cannot undo that. The sun will rise not because of luck or chance, but because I command it. And when it does, remember, you didn't make it happen by worrying through the night. You made it safely there because I carried you through the dark. Sleep now. You've done enough planning, enough bracing. Let the weight of tomorrow slip from your hands into mine. I already know the outcome, and it ends with peace. The story I'm writing for you does not end in fear, so rest. The future is finished in my heart long before it begins in yours. Sleep as if heaven is holding you, because it is. You imagine sleep as falling, a slow surrender into the unknown, a drifting where no one can catch you. But I tell you the truth. You never fall when you sleep in me. You are cradled. The gravity you feel as you drift into stillness, that gentle pull downward, is not just physics. It is my hands, cupped beneath your spirit, lowering you softly into peace. You are not slipping away. You are being carried home for the night. Every creature knows this rhythm. The birds settle into branches, trusting the wind to cradle them. The ocean rests between tides. The stars hold their breath until morning. Everything in creation learns to sleep inside my order. And yet, you think you must stay awake to keep the world from breaking. You clutch at thoughts like lifelines, afraid that if you let go, something will unravel. But you were never meant to be the one who keeps the earth spinning. That's my work. Your work is to rest. When you finally release the need to manage everything, heaven rushes in to take your place. Angels gather like a canopy above you, wings overlapping in patterns of light invisible to your eyes but known by your soul. They guard you not because danger lurks, but because you are precious. They stand watch so your rest can be sacred, not interrupted by fear, not disturbed by the ghosts of memory. Every breath you take beneath their watch becomes a prayer you didn't have to speak. I wish you could see how the unseen world looks when you sleep. The room fills with a radiance that no candle can match. Every sigh from your lungs creates ripples of gold through the air. Each heartbeat releases sound into heaven's frequency. I see it all, the stillness, the warmth, the miracle of your existence at rest, and I call it good. Even now, as your body slows and your mind begins to fade, I am tracing peace along your edges. Do not be afraid of losing consciousness. The world teaches you to associate stillness with weakness, to measure worth by motion. But even I rested after creation. Not because I was tired, but because I wanted to show you that rest is divine. You were made in my image. That means you are made to pause, to trust, to sleep while heaven keeps watch. Sleep, then, not as escape, but as participation in the holiness of rest. Let this be your bedtime prayer, even if you say it without words. I trust you to hold what I cannot. Whisper it once, and the night will listen. Whisper it again, and your spirit will believe it. You don't need to stay awake to keep love alive. Love keeps itself. My peace doesn't evaporate when your eyes close, it deepens. You are safest not when you are alert, but when you are surrendered. If fear tries to return, that sudden jolt of panic before sleep, the racing thoughts that feel louder in darkness, place them in my hands. Picture them as small, flickering candles you are handing to me one by one. I will blow them out, not in anger, but with care, until only the glow of peace remains. You'll notice it in your body, your chest loosening, your jaw softening, your breath syncing with mine. That rhythm is proof of presence. That rhythm is heaven holding you. And when dreams come, let them come gently. Don't chase them, don't fear them. They are simply the ripples of my love moving through the deep waters of your mind. Even in the places your consciousness cannot go, I am there. Even in the silent chambers of your soul, my voice hums, not commanding, just comforting. So now, let go. The lights can fade, the thoughts can slow, the world can wait. Curl into the quiet and feel it embrace you. Feel the warmth beneath the blanket, the hum in the air, the softness that wasn't there a moment ago, that's me. Heaven has wrapped itself around you, as sure as morning will come. Sleep as if you're safe because you are. Sleep as if you're loved because you always have been. Sleep as if heaven is holding you because right now it is. Good night, my beloved. You have made it through another day, through questions you didn't have answers for, through moments that bent your heart, through hours that stretched longer than you thought you could bear. And yet here you are, breathing in the dark, wrapped in the hush that I have laid over the world. You think you came here alone, but I have been beside you all along. Even now, as your eyelids grow heavy, I am closer than thought, nearer than sound. Rest now, not because you've earned it, but because I have given it. Rest because the world can wait, because your worth was never measured by what you finished before midnight. Lay down the unspoken apologies, the to-do lists that echo in your mind, the small griefs you didn't know where to place. They belong nowhere but here, in my keeping. You have carried enough. I will carry the rest. Let this night be holy, not because of what you prayed, but because of what you released. You don't have to think your way to peace. You don't have to feel worthy of it. Peace is simply the truth remembered, that you are mine and I am enough. I do not love you for your resilience or your optimism or your faith. I love you because I made you, and nothing I make can fall beyond my mercy. You worry that morning will demand more strength than you can give. But I am already in the morning. I am already filling it with light, preparing it with gentleness. I will meet you there, as surely as dawn will find your window. The same voice that whispers now in the dark will speak again when sunlight touches your skin. You will not have to look for me. I will already be smiling in the warmth that wakes you. Before you drift away, listen once more. Nothing that happened today can undo my love. Nothing that comes tomorrow can outgrow it. You could travel to the edge of the universe or the edge of your patience, and still you would find me there, patient, steady, waiting with open arms. My love does not fade with your faith. It deepens where you doubt. So breathe now, slowly. Feel the weight of the blanket, the rhythm of your heart, the softness of the pillow beneath your head, all of it, small reminders that you are safe, that you are held. The angels are still here, quiet and radiant, keeping the night as I command them. The stars you cannot see through the clouds are still burning, just as I am still working, still watching, still loving. Close your eyes, my beloved. Let every muscle unclench, let every thought dissolve. Let sleep come not as escape, but as communion, the meeting place where your spirit rests inside mine. You are forgiven. You are free. You are loved without end. And when you wake, remember this. You did not survive the night by strength, but by grace. You did not sleep alone, heaven kept you. Every breath you take is proof that mercy never stopped flowing. So good night, truly good night. Rest in the arms that made the stars. Rest in the peace that outlives all storms. Rest in me and let this final truth cradle you into sleep. You are mine. You are safe. You are loved beyond measure. And you can fall asleep now, for I am still here.